here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was thinking, do you remember that time that we threw confetti? Remember that?
Remember that when we did our podcast and I surprised you with it?
And the confetti?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, I wish we had confetti this morning.
I know. Oh man. I need to just have some backup. Like
We should.
I hand cut all those little pieces of paper.
We celebrate enough on this show. I got some hairs that are.
Yeah. Hold on. We got to look. Okay.
My hair. I just got back from working out to begin with, so I'm a mess. And then I'm like, well, I'm gonna put my hat on.
Yeah.
Because we're celebrating today.
We're celebrating.
Who in our audience watched the amazing hearing? Probably not very many. Only us nerds.
Well, I had a call during that time. So
you were working. You were on the clock. Working. That's legit.
Yeah.
I may or may not have put my client on hold during that vote. I don't know what I would have done. No, I would have. No, it's exciting.
I forgot, honestly. I knew it was today, but I forgot it was 10 o'clock. I was just doing the things.
Yeah.
That's all. But that's exciting.
Oh, yeah. It's a good day. So it was so funny because I just remembered I was having flashbacks to last week at this very time. I was sitting at the airport.
Yeah.
Getting ready to fly out to Washington, D.C. to watch this very thing happen. Mm-hmm. And so I'll update everybody on what happened on that trip. That was that was a God trip that happened. Yeah. And lots of God openings just happened.
Yes.
And our country is just literally on the operating table right now. Like people are freaked out. They're just freaked out right now because everything is up in the air. We have somebody who's actually come in and said he was going to do something, and he's doing it, and it's kind of making people mad.
It's bizarre when
it's never happened before,
and people have a problem with they have trust issues.
Yeah,
we've been brainwashed to have this
to be
nice.
Yeah,
but we've
been brainwashed that there's a political system and you have to do things a certain way and everything has to be politically correct. Yeah. And Trump came in and just said, no, that's not how it works. And we lost our country that way. We lost our freedoms because we were too nice. And so people are a little freaked out right now because we're going and we're taking it back and we're bringing our country back to where our founders intended it. And it hurts. It hurts a little bit.
Not only the people, but as you said that I need to have up, not only the people, but the stocks. The stocks are freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, Pfizer and Moderna's, they plummeted.
Amazing.
Like, there's the line, and then the line is like down.
Take a screenshot of that. That's a meme right there. Yeah. We got invested in this because we now I had always been involved politically, and my history is, we took out a very, very liberal senator in 2008, I believe. Years are I don't remember what year, but so we got involved that way. But now I walked away to get healthy because I was 272 pounds back then, and I walked away to get healthy, and I came back and I'm like, oh wait, we have to get involved again. You mean my voice matters again?
Girl. Can I just want to say, like, I'm not going to make you feel uncomfortable, but I might. But you are so inspiring. And just like the more, like, I know the side of Monica that a lot of people don't get to see, but just seeing the outside of, like, she's freaked out, but in the same breath, she just does the things because she knows that initially that comes first. where you just have to have outer body experience. And let me just say, like, when I lost my weight, that's when that was at the bottom of the barrel of all of my excuses. Like, I had to, like, scoop at the bottom of saying, "Lord, I'm too overweight to serve you or to be your disciple." And then once the weight went away, like, that just put a different perspective, different.
Mhm.
And I think I see that in you, is that you have a confidence level in a new way, but also in the same breath, there's still that fear, not fear, there's that nervousness of, like, the unknown. Like, you travel
Mhm.
over to DC by yourself. Like,
That was
that's ins
scary.
that's like, it's scary, but God had you, like, through that whole entire process, and listening to your story of, like, where you were, and when you decided to stop texting me at 12 o'clock and I thought you were dead. Knowing that, okay, I know my sister well enough that she probably made a bunch of new friends, or she's in President Trump's office right now. Like, one of the 2 is happening. I don't foresee her being dead, which I that was my very first
And then the
thought.
airplane crash.
And then the airplane crash, where I'm like, reality sets in, like,
Ooh,
she's in DC, where who knows why these planes collided, but foul play or no foul play, we don't know, we still don't understand, but still
right.
you have that in the back of your mind. But would
Yeah.
you, like, I don't know if
Crazy.
this is where you were headed with our conversation or not, but would you, like, go ahead and kind of give us an
Yeah.
idea of your experience when you were in there,
Yeah. Oh
who
my
you met,
gosh.
and, like, just give us that
Crazy.
story, because I'm jealous
Well,
and I
let's give
wish
the end of the story first. So,
you're alive. In the end. No, I'm just
yes,
kidding.
I'm alive. At the end, no, the end is
Oh, okay.
1413.
Yes. Yes.
We just watched RFK progress to the full Senate, which is a big, big hurdle. And we worked hard for those votes.
Yeah.
There's some senators who don't want to change the way that they do business. And those senators are going to face a primary, including one of our own here in Indiana.
Can
He's
I
going to
just
face
say,
a
though,
primary.
I put my big girl pants on and I called the guy.
Good.
I've
Good.
never done that before, and I hate to admit that to you, but I've never done that before. I put my big girl pants
That's
on,
awesome.
and so go on.
They
That I
shut
just
the
wanna say
phones
that.
down. Hold on.
Oh,
Sorry, I had to tell my daughter to turn down the TV because that's all I was hearing. So yeah, Todd Young he's a stinker. He's a stinker. He is an anti-Trump senator, and he's going to face a primary. But what happened last night was they shut the phones down. The Senate completely shut the phones down. There were so many people calling by the second that they couldn't even take the
wow.
calls. And so they're hearing.
Doesn't it just go to a voice message?
Well, the voice messages filled up, so
Oh,
they
okay,
finally
so
had
they're
to
not.
shut the entire lines down. So there was such a message and such a cry for people to say, "We are tired of giving our health to the government. We're tired of not
Mhm.
being able to afford insurance. We're just tired of this." So yeah, we won the next step today. RFK, it progresses over to the full Senate, which we'll have another battle over there. I'm not sure they're thinking the vote will be the beginning of next week, but I think after some hours pass here that he can go at any time. So that's what we'll be doing. So that means call your senator. Call your senator. Say we expect you to vote for RFK. We want our medical freedom. We want our health. And by the way, sitting there. So I went there, got on a plane this time last week, got on a plane, had no idea why I was there. Literally had no idea why I was going, what I was doing. I didn't know anything. I just got a flight to DC, which 12 hours later, that same flight pattern, the plane crashed. It was horrific. Such a tragedy. It was scary, and I was getting back on the plane to come home, and they diverted my airport to another one because they shut Reagan down. So it was a little intense there for a while, but got there to DC. Scariest part was like checking in my hotel because it was a high rise hotel. There's a lot of homeless. There's a lot of it was not my little small little town.
Mm.
And I was starving when I got there. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to put my big girl panties on and I'm gonna have to go next door to this restaurant all by myself. which was kind of scary. And I was confronted by a homeless man who called me the B word because I wouldn't give him $1. Didn't have $1. So this little town girl in a big city. But it was so
Yeah.
funny because the next morning, my senator was so hospitable. Senator Banks, they just like texted me in and they said, we're going to meet you there in the morning. We're going to find you a spot. We're going to get you in the hearing. And we think that you should probably get there around 8:00. And something told me that morning, 8:00, you won't ever get in. And so I got up at 4:30 that morning. I got dressed, put my green shirt on because green was kind of the color of medical freedom. And I went down, got up my own Uber, took myself to the Senate, Dirksen Senate building at 5:30 in the morning. When I got there, there were people sleeping. And there was already a line when I got there at 5:30. Come to find out, the left, the radical nurses that were very angry with RFK, they hired homeless people to sleep there overnight. So they waited in line until we got up to the front, and then the homeless people left, and these guys slithered into the line, the people that were trying to take up the seats so that we couldn't get in the building.
Stinker.
Apparently that's how it works.
Wow.
I wonder how much they paid them. But yeah.
Probably $1.
Yeah, probably. So I had seen this woman that was at my hotel and she looked very fancy. And I thought, oh, she's either a lawyer or she's something. She looked like she was going somewhere. Well, we Ubered away. She Ubered away. I Ubered away, got there to the Dirksen Senate building. And there she was. It was like God just said, here's a friend.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my gosh, we should have Ubered over together. And she was a nurse and she was in support of RFK. And so we just got to know each other and it was a God thing. I didn't have to be alone. I didn't have to Uber alone because I had Kelly. And it was so funny because both of us, when we got there, as we introduced each other in a line, when I got there, it was like a big family, minus the homeless people that were saving seats for the lobbyists.
You could have added them to your family.
Oh, man. They were all family. It was like people, if you've ever been to a Trump rally or if you've ever been to a freedom rally, it's just, you just know what I'm talking about. These people believed in freedom and there was no stranger among the crowd. But both of us at the same time said, we don't know why we're here. We didn't know. We just knew that God had said, you're gonna go. So we were the last 10 people to get in the hearing room. We waited until 10 o'clock that morning and the security was intense. And we were the last 10 people to fit into that committee room. And that was a God thing. And we weren't allowed to take pictures. And yet they let me go all the way up to the front where the press was. And I videotaped, and RFK came in when I was recording that. And the room went wild. Wow. So there were detractors, and you saw the purple-haired nurses get escorted out. And it was all planned. They all nodded to each other. Like when it was time, they nodded. And then you could tell they were putting their purses on because they knew they were going to be arrested. And they were right in front of us. And just, it was all about vaccines. They were really, funny thing is, I think RFK is anti-vax, and he's not.
No, he's not.
The thing that made me the maddest was when we were talking about vaccines, they did not want to talk about chronic disease. Right. Because that's where we agree. They did not want to talk about chronic disease at all. So they kept going to anti-vax. Right. When RFK said, I'm not anti-vax. I vaxxed my kids. I vaxxed myself. Or, I have vaccines myself. I want warnings. I want people to be informed. I want informed consent. And that was like when the demons flew. People do not want warnings on the boxes.
No, because they transparency.
Said, the blonde woman that was very grouchy.
Yeah, she's very angry.
Warren, I think she was like, if those warnings are on the boxes, then people won't want to get vaccine. It will deter them from getting vaccines. And I'm like,
duh.
You think?
If they are actually able to look at those and be like, well, I don't feel like this should be in my body.
Right. Informed consent. They went ballistic. They did not want the black box warnings on there. Yeah. They did not want the research done on these vaccines. They want it all hidden. They want it under the rug. They want it hidden. Well, the funny thing was, financing was brought up. And Mr. Bernie Sanders, he cracks me up, that little grouchy old man.
He is so grouchy.
He started talking about finances, and they were ready for him. They said, "Well, Senator, you personally take 1.5 million."
No, what? No.
No, I didn't. And he did. They're all financed by Big Pharma, all of them.
Oh, it's uncovering the crap that's buried, and
yeah.
that you can tell that those 13
Yeah.
are the ones that are, a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all funded by pharma, so of course they don't. And just a few minutes ago, when the vote happened, one of the senators said, "You know what? We talked last week a lot about unleashing RFK on the medical world." He said, and we talked about that, and a lot of people backed away. He says, "But I am snuggling right up to that. I hope this man is unleashed over this, the corruption that's happening in the medical field."
It is.
So
it is.
the rest of the day I spent lobbying. I ended up at some sort of party that night. I texted you at that point, and I said, "I don't know what line I'm in, but there's a lot of security here, and I don't know why I'm here." Well, let me tell you, it was the best prime rib I had ever had in my life.
And it was free.
And guess who was there? Our friend
Casey
Means was there. I got my picture taken with him. Aww. It was awesome. So it was a celebration. But the thing that got me the most, when we were standing in line, we had to wait 3 hours. I had heels on, hurt. When we were standing in line, I was surrounded by Democrats and New Yorkers, ex-Democrats. Awesome. These people, I didn't know who RFK was before Trump. I didn't know who he was. I'm like, I mean, I had heard of him before, and I just never paid attention because he was a Democrat.
Yeah.
So these people in line knew who he was, and they were fans of his, and they were all ex-Democrats who lived in New York in jail during COVID. Those people were angry. I made the most wonderful Democrat friends I have ever made. I sat in the hearing in between, because you had to literally sit on your hands. You could not clap. If you clapped one time, they said warning and you're out.
Yeah.
The other blue-haired nurses got to scream, but we sat on our hands.
What about the signs? That one of the senators was offended that if we can't say things, then the signs can't be put up. What is that? What was that about?
Exactly. Yeah.
Womp womp.
The Capitol Police were very good. They were very good keeping control over everything. But when I sat here, I saw to the left of me, up in front, I saw one of the women that I was standing in line with, and she just had tears streaming down her face. And they were talking about vaccine injuries, and her daughter, she had just been in that the new documentary on Netflix about shots. She's one of the lead characters in there. Well, not characters. That's her. She's a vaccine mama. Right. And she just was crying when they were talking about the vaccine injuries. And then the one next to me, when Senator Warren was going off on RFK, she was just crying, and she leaned over to me and sitting on her hands because we couldn't do anything. She said, "I am so angry. I have spent my entire life being a Democrat. I cannot give you words to how much I hate these people." And she just was crying. It was intense.
Wow.
It was intense. And I met a young man, 26 years old, in line. He had never been politically active ever until he was woken up by this anti-freedom stuff. And it was just really cool. There was no party line. I didn't know what I was. I was a Republican. I thought I was.
You were fighting for freedom.
And I was standing there in a whole line of Democrats and independents, and Republicans were there too. Yeah. There's a movement happening, and it's freedom not fighters. Party line. No. Not party line at all. Mm-mm. So God, I was able to sit with my senator's office, and we talked, about my company. We talked about what we do here for our clients, and very productive. And I made it home safe. So, and today we won another round. Tulsi is also up this morning.
He's not confirmed yet, Sancy. He's getting there.
Mm-hmm. He got out of committee.
Is Tulsi today as well?
Tulsi is today, I believe, as well. If you don't follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on Facebook for health, which that's how I want you to follow me. If you want a little radical side of Monica, go over to X. Mm-hmm. That's where I cut loose. I'm very nice over here.
I actually let loose too when you were over in Washington, and
Good
I
for you. Oh,
was
to our old
to
vice
our old
president.
vice president, because by
Snappy.
golly, I was oh, something that he just said just
Ugh.
irked me, and I don't ever comment on people's
Mhm.
things, but I'm like, "You're okay with this, you're defending the abortion, the choosing right to life, and yet you're not concerned about our children that are actually
That are
living
dying.
and that are
Yeah.
dying
Yeah.
as
It's
they're
so true.
considered a human being. They're dying and they're becoming zombies. So
Right.
you're not concerned about that?
Right.
That is not okay."
Oh, I'm embarrassed of that era of my life.
Yes.
I loved
Oh,
that man. I did. So, yeah. Um, it's okay to get spicy. It's okay to get I think spicy is not a good word in this new.
I'm
By the
learning that
way, speaking of spicy, I am really angry. Did you watch the Grammys?
I didn't watch it. No,
Did
who
you
would
see what
the
I saw?
yeah, the
We
nudity?
are now just allowed to walk out into the public naked?
Yeah.
Well, like
Well,
where?
she had a sheer covering on, Monica. It was
It's
sheer
such depravity.
hose.
Such depravity. Oh, I'm so it just yeah,
There is
so I mean I'm a really nice person. You
you
know,
are.
I have opinions, but there is there's no political party anymore.
No.
It is a combined effort of we are fed up being walked on. We are fed up with the loss of freedom. We are just plain fed up. There's
Right.
no party lines anymore. That's something I learned there. I learned there and I needed to see that. I needed to see the difference between the old politics and the new.
Yeah.
There's no line. There are more people that agree with us than do not.
Right. I think it comes down to the other side, like, just talking about the Grammys. They're
Mhm.
like, "Well, you fight for freedom about medical and all that sort. Why can't we be free and wear whatever we want to express ourselves or not wear whatever we want?" I think it comes down to respect. Like,
Mhm. Right.
respecting of the fact that there are
Right.
children that no, we parents don't want our children to be seeing a naked woman at the
Right.
age of 9 and 12 and younger, or
Right.
any age. Like, no, we don't want
Yeah.
to introduce that to our, so that's why we don't watch TV.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's why.
We've reached ultimate depravity.
And
We
I'm
really have.
afraid that when they have to do research for school,
Mhm.
they're going to come across this junk, this garbage.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
just
mean, it was
like,
all over my Twitter. It was all
yeah,
over. I saw every nip, cranny, and everything she had. Why? I don't want to see that.
no,
Anyway, that was a squirrel
it
moment.
was
But
a squirrel moment.
I
That's
want to tell
disgraceful.
everybody that we are winning. We are finally, for the first time since I have been involved in politics, we have control over our health. I think we are going to see mountains moved. And I think that people don't care about they don't care about political correctness or political ramifications anymore. And I hope they do. I hope Bobby does just
Right.
break through those pharma. One of the funny things that Senator Warren said this morning was, pharma, these vaccine companies have such a little profit area. They can't afford any regulations. They literally run our country.
They
They are in
do.
charge. They write the checks. They decide your health. We don't. The pharma companies do. They can take a little bit of a hit.
Absolutely. If you think about the numbers of people, I don't know the stats, but the
Mhm.
stats of people that are on a medication
Yeah.
or have, take shots, or
Oh, yeah.
that number is grand.
Yeah.
I would say it would, in my guess, it would be like a 1 to 5
Mhm.
ratio.
The one thing that they refused to talk about, and there was one senator who kept trying to bring them back to it, but one thing they refused to talk about is chronic illness.
Hmm.
And why do 66% of our kids, why do they have a chronic disease?
Right.
They don't want to talk about chronic disease because chronic disease is a lifestyle choice. These things can be reversed with your diet. That's what Coach Darcy and I live our lives to do. We live our lives to reverse chronic disease because you can.
Yeah.
If you have type 2 diabetes, you're living with a choice. You're living that. That is a lifestyle driven disease. PCOS is reversible. All of these things are reversible with your diet. And they didn't want to talk about it because that's a free fix. Literally, it's a free fix. It's a trip to the grocery store for a steak, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to simplify it because our clients go through massive they go through a massive program, and some of them struggle with food addiction, and some of them, it is hard. It is a hard path to take, but it is reversible. All of
Right.
these things are reversible. And they didn't want to talk about that because that is the fix for it.
Right.
So
It's like,
they beat up on vaccines.
and the media is not helping any because I
No,
keep seeing this. They never help in any case, actually, but
no.
they
Media
are
is why we all
fighting.
hate each other.
Yeah, they are fighting so hard to make eating whole foods and healthy
Mhm.
as it's a terrible idea. The whole, I don't know if it came across your news feed at all, but the man who ate 9 pounds of cheese and called himself carnivore, and then he had his cholesterol coming through his hands in
Mhm.
Florida. It started in Florida, and I went to go cite all the places that they tried to cite in their article, and it never stated anything negative in
Mhm.
those sites,
Mhm.
but they warped it. They took it out of context.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like this is what I'm talking about. Like the media is trying so hard
Yeah.
to fit this narrative and get people to go this plant-based. And
Mhm.
I'm wondering if the media is like tofu friendly. Like that's what they want. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt
it's
it.
like, why are you trying so hard? Who's paying you to put these articles out to make it sound like what we are doing
Well, if
is
you look at
unhealthy?
the end of those articles, it always says paid for by, and then you'll always find a
Oh.
lobbyist group. So a
Ha.
lot of them are paid for by vegan, paid for, which then is backed by pharma. So
Right.
it's all connected, and that's what Elon is exposing. And a lot of people are angry with him. AOC called him. She called it a 5 alarm fire when she's talking about these things being exposed under this U.S. aid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's a 5 alarm fire for you because it's showing us how much embezzlement and how much our tax dollars have gone to sushi.
Right.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Sushi and
Sushi and paper
Starbucks.
cups.
Yeah, it's a 5 alarm fire for you. We are done. We are
Yeah, you're
so
living the high
done.
life while we're all struggling here trying to pay taxes upon taxes,
Mhm.
where, have a small company or a big company, and we're
Mhm.
like, most of it goes to taxes, or we're
Yeah.
getting taxed upon tax. Like,
Yeah.
now they're making us tax on, like, garage sale items. Like, they're trying to tax on everything, even though we've
Everything.
already paid for tax.
Yeah. So
Ugh.
let's talk to our
Yeah.
weak need listeners because I know you're out there.
Yeah.
Not weak need, but you're sensitive. Okay, let's talk to our sensitive listeners out there. And this is a little bit off topic, but in order to get your freedom, in order to get medical freedom, in order to get big food, big pharma under control, in order to do everything that you have wanted for so long, you got to go through a little bit of pain. You've got to
Yeah.
go through some things that maybe might seem uncomfortable.
You're not
You
used to it.
you're going to hear the people on the left. Absolutely. I mean, it's demonic sound. When I was there and you could hear the shrieks there, it's like a demonic sound.
Mm.
You're going to hear all of that because the enemy is being exposed, because we are now seeing where your tax dollars have gone. We are seeing what has happened to your medical records. We're seeing all this. The enemy is mad and he's screaming. Well, in the wake of this, he's getting our sensitive souls. So you need to
Mhm.
toughen up. You need
Yeah.
to toughen up for the next couple of months. Hold on to your seat. Let the system fix itself and you'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Take a breath. Go get a steak. While you're questioning, what do I do? What do I eat? Go get a steak. Put some butter on it. Sit down. Just enjoy your steak for a little bit.
Don't eat 9 pounds of butter
Oh my gosh.
and
What
9
was
pounds
up
of
with that?
cheese
What was up with
a
that?
day.
Was he trying? Did you ever get to the
I
bottom of
don't
that story?
know, it didn't make none of it made sense. It sounded like this
It's
person
fishy.
yeah, it's very fishy,
Mhm.
because it was, some people were saying, "Oh, it was 6 to 9 pounds for a year." That doesn't make sense. You can't,
Yeah.
like, it was 6 to 9 pounds
Yeah. That's
a
crazy.
day. And
That's
that's
crazy.
like, it's and they was yeah, he was calling himself carnivore, but he didn't have anything carnivore.
Mhm.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
It was definitely a flare up,
Yeah. So
rising
let's you and
people.
I talk. We got the politics. Congratulations, we won. Call your senator. Tell
Winning.
them
We're winning.
it's not over. We're winning.
We're winning.
Call your senator. Say, please vote to confirm RFK today. Okay, so do that. Let's talk about our strategy. I want to address this because it's been bothering me.
Oh,
Okay. Let's talk about our strategy as health coaches. So you and I
okay.
deal with a lot of food addiction, right? That's
Yes.
our specialty. We love it. We deal with the how helping women eat around their hormones. We deal with weight loss, but one of the common denominators with all of these things is that most 1 out of 3 of our clients struggle with food addiction.
Yes.
Let's talk about our tactic in dealing with food addiction. Now, it's a long, it's a 18-week just detox program, right? It's intense. There's a lot more than this. You and I are both abstinence-based coaches. We don't apologize for it.
Right.
You're not going to find a lot of us out there. I was trained under Bitten Johnson. I read a lot from Dr. Vera Tarman, Robert Lustig, Roland Williams, all of that. We were trained under a certain treatment protocol, and the protocol works, and the protocol is painful. What we're finding now is we are finding again a lot of the squishies out there who say you can eat whatever you want. If you have a sponsor, if you're part of OA and you have a sponsor,
Mhm.
if you have a friend, if you have a doctor, if you have any sort of mentor that tells you as a food addict that you can eat anything you want, fire them.
Yes.
Fire them. Abstinence is the only way you will be free from food addiction. And it's my pet peeve because I'm seeing a lot of people say, "Well, that's going to breed an eating disorder." No, it's actually freeing you from the thing that held you captive. There are
Yeah.
things that I am not going to be able to eat again for the rest of my life because I am a food addict.
Right.
If you have a person telling you that you can eat anything or to eat nuts or to eat whatever you want as a food addict, you need to fire them. We're seeing
Yeah.
this more and more come into our practice. And so I've just been giving a disclaimer whenever I do an intake. I will not take a client who believes in intuitive eating.
Right.
Where would your intuitive eating take you, Dars?
Not in a good place, let me tell you. And on top of that, like if you're in a place where you say, "Oh, well, I don't have a food addiction," or I
Mhm.
we used to talk a lot about emotional eating. When I first joined the program, I was not an emotional eater.
Mhm.
But then as I was going on in my journey, I was focused. I did the things. I lost the weight. And then I looked back at my
Mhm.
life and I was like, actually, I did depend a lot on food when I
Mhm.
was angry, when I was depressed, when I was a stay at home mom and I felt lonely.
Mhm.
I would be in that place of eating of their food and my food. Even though I already ate, I was continuing on eating. And then time goes on and, you know, 3 years down the road of being
Mhm.
keto and discovering that I am an emotional eater, I've apparently fixed that. I look
Mhm.
back at my journey again and I was like, I can't even manage how much keto treats that I
Right.
have.
Yeah.
Had this there was no moderation for me. I can't
Mm-mm.
just have a thing of cupcakes sitting in my kitchen that are keto
Right.
friendly and stick to just one.
Right.
It's not it that doesn't happen, and I did not see how, even the healthy foods
Mhm.
are, causing my addiction.
Yeah.
So, no, like,
Yeah.
there's no moderation for a food addict, like you
Yeah.
say over and over. So, that means that giving a client something that triggers them to begin with, if they cannot just stick to one nut that and just stay and be
Mhm.
satisfied with the one nut,
I've
then
never met somebody that can do just one nut or even just a
no.
handful. I've never met anybody that can do that. So nuts in and of themselves, even if you don't struggle with food addiction, that those in and of
Yeah,
themselves are very, very addictive. And so
right.
we just want to put that caution out to you. And we want to
Yeah.
give a disclaimer as to who we are.
Mhm.
Don't come to us if you want feel good coaching. Don't
Coddling.
don't
We
come
don't
to us if you
coddle.
want coddling. You come to us if you want results. You
Yeah.
come to us and we're gonna take you down that path no matter how we get you there,
We're
right?
nice about it. We're
Oh,
not
we hug our
mean.
clients after every call. There's a
You
virtual
make
hug.
sometimes you make us sound like we're just, "Arr," well, we're not. But
No,
we tell it like it is. We don't try to cover,
no.
the reality.
We've
We
covered it for years.
Yeah,
We've made excuses for
yeah,
years about why we're in the mess we are. So, Coach and I don't believe in taking you down that path. We want you to be successful, but not only that, we want you to never need us again. We
right,
want you to leave our practice and never and only come back if you want to coach for us,
right, right.
right?
Absolutely. I like to teach a person to fish and they
Absolutely.
survive forever. I don't know if that's what's
Yeah.
that phrase?
Teach a man to fish. Oh, Sancy, you got to help us with this.
Te or
Teach a man to fish.
There's 2 parts to that, and I'm
Uh-huh.
hearing that
I
the
feel like
tempo
Sancy
of
is
it
gonna
it's the
uh-huh.
tempo of it, but I don't know the words. But I just know we teach our
Feed because if
clients,
you feed a man a fish, he's not going to
yeah, feed a man a fish, and he's gonna come back.
help Sancy. She'll help us
If
out.
you
I know
teach
she
a
will.
man to fish, then he's set for life. I just made it up. I got
Oh
it.
my goodness. No, for real, we have a specific method and a specific strategy in our coaching practice, and it is not intuitive eating. It is not the feel good, eat whatever you want. It is if you struggle with food addiction, if you struggle with sugar addiction, it is abstinence based.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and this is for the rest of your life. One of the questions I got, was from teach a man to fish,
Feed him
feed
for
him
life.
for life. Okay,
Okay.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
But one of the things that we're getting is what happens after, after the client loses the weight and he, how do you transition them back into normal eating? We don't, because we teach you normal eating. We
Yes.
teach you how your body works. So, what we do with you during our 3 months that we have you, that's the way you do the rest of your life. That's why I
Yeah.
want to know during my sessions with you, where are you unhappy? What can
Right.
we replace it with? Do you need to learn how to make a keto treat? Do you
Yes.
need to work on this addictive behavior that you have? So, nothing happens after transition. We
And
are the transition.
another question or comment that might be brought up is, well, these other countries, they eat the things and they're thin. Why
Mhm.
is it that we have to not eat bread here?
Right.
Or uh, fill in the blank.
Mhm.
Well, again, this goes back to making America healthy again because we have so much crap in our
Mhm.
food that is causing the inflammation in our body, the havoc that our I don't know the ultra processed foods, like all of
Uh-huh.
those things with all the chemicals. It's just that is why, and
Uh-huh.
it's required.
It is.
Did you know that in Spain, it's not required to have a chemical. You can have pure wine. I know this. Somebody told me they could have
Mhm.
pure wine. It was the best tasting wine they've ever had in their
Mhm.
life, and they drink all the time. They have wine there all the time, and nobody's
Mhm.
seems to have an obesity problem. They are like, "Hey, can we get this sent to the United States?" And they're like, "Sure, but it's not gonna be the same." They're like, "Well,
Mhm.
why?" "Well, because we are required to put a chemical
Yeah.
in the wine before we send it over." So, they're telling people to put this chemical in this wine. That should put red flags up there for you.
Mhm.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's a shelf life stable preservative, but that is why we have a health problem. So, we
It
have to
is.
eat differently.
Yeah. And
It's
this
just
is
a g
where RFK is gonna come in, and I
Yeah,
I have hopes that because some of the things that we work with our clients on are behavioral changes, right? There's things that you will literally have to do to change your behavior. There are
mhm,
things that are happening to us, however, that I think that RFK is gonna be able to come in and turn tables over. The poisons that they put in our food that cause us to become addicted to our foods.
yeah,
The seed oils, the red dye, 40, the
and
yellow
green.
dyes,
Yeah,
all of those things.
yeah,
I think so I have hopes that we're gonna get a little assistance in that. Behavioral changes? Yeah, we gotta change
yeah,
those. We've gotta get accustomed to not ordering pizza because we're too lazy to cook, right?
yes. We need to get him on board for the next 4 years to show what the potential is. If
Mhm.
we can have people reverse their ailments within a couple weeks even,
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
type 2, we see what we could do in 4 years. No, it's not gonna be the fix-all because there's gonna be stubborn people that like
Mhm.
to be paid money,
Absolutely. Yeah.
to for their support,
Mhm.
and they want to support the vaccinations,
Mhm.
in the wrong way.
Mhm.
It's gonna take time, and it's not gonna be an
Mhm.
instant turnaround, but we need to
No.
see what the potential is, and then after those 4 years is up,
Right.
we've gotta make sure somebody carries that flag
Exactly.
onward and
Yeah.
that we fight saying, "Oh, I see now that all of this stuff has been
Right.
causing us problems.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
see now
Yeah.
that
We bear
all these."
responsibility for that
Yeah,
because I think by the time they're done, we only have 4 years to get this stuff fixed. After that, it's on our shoulders. We gotta
yeah.
decide. What do we want? Do we wanna go back to the way we were? What do we want? And so I think the responsibility falls on us. And so if you are one of those that are quiet right now, please wake up. Please use your voice. Everything you do right now makes a difference. And so that's why I got on a plane last week. I was ready to be a keyboard warrior, and I could have been a keyboard warrior on Wednesday. I could have canceled my clients and done the tweeter and the tweeter, the X, and I could have done all that.
That was cute.
No, tweeter.
That's
Yeah.
e
I could have done that, but it's time for us to stand up and it's time for us to make a difference. If
Mhm.
if you've never done it, message us. We'll tell you how. I will tell you exactly how to get involved and what exactly to do.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in Indiana and are ready to get involved in getting rid of a liberal senator. You
Look
see
look
me
at that.
after class.
They should be worried.
Well, very worried,
He
very
he
worried.
he should be worried.
He is so worried he changed his votes on Tulsi and RFK.
Uh-huh.
That's how worried he is. But
Yeah.
too late, sir. Too late.
Yeah. Yep. You I
Oh,
liked your interview because you got to, be interviewed on our local,
yes.
Indianapolis, radio show,
Yeah, Kendall and Casey.
Kendall and Casey, and, they're such nice people. I loved listening to the interview and how, like, all the questions they had was questions of everyone else, but
Uh-huh.
at the end, he said, Young should not make Monica angry because she and it's true, like,
Uh,
that's why I made that's why I say, like, you are very inspirational, and that's just by doing the things even though you're uncomfortable, and I think that whole mindset of being uncomfortable
mhm.
is the game changer. That is where
Yeah.
change is made when you are uncomfortable. That means that you're also in the right place. So,
Mhm.
even in this food world that we live in right now,
Oh, yeah.
our natural health coaching that we do,
Mhm.
no shots included, um, it
Oh,
comes
yeah.
down to being uncomfortable all the time. Yeah, you're gonna
Mhm.
have to be uncomfortable and sad and grieve certain foods
Mhm.
and say goodbye to them, but you are adding years onto your life.
Yeah.
You are
You really
getting
are.
rid of all those medications. You are
Yeah.
having mental clarity, maybe for the first time in your life.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know what mental clarity is
Mhm.
because you've never experienced it, but by golly, like the
Mhm.
scales are just fall off your eyes and you can
Oh,
see
yeah.
clearer.
Yeah.
We don't just say that because it sounds good. It just actually happens. And it's a
Yeah.
very commonality. And here's one thing that grinds my gears with the party that is against medical freedom and health freedom is the fact that they don't understand. They keep saying, "Oh, well, it's not documented that these things are actually legit. You don't have a controlled study." But I'm thinking the controlled study is all of these people that volunteer to change their life, either going carnivore, keto, maybe
Mhm.
even if paleo works for them.
Mhm.
Um, and they're reversing their ailments. How is that not testimony in aside from like,
Mhm.
no, we're not testing on rats and we're
Right.
not testing because they're naturally they naturally eat what they eat.
Mhm.
And you can see when in the controlled study when they feed them sugar and all these other things, they get fat. You should just
Mhm.
that is the controlled study. And how dare you say that there's no controlled study
Mhm.
convincing that
Do you
this
know
is working?
do you know what one of those, budget items that they uncovered yesterday?
What?
Millions of dollars on practicing on transgendered animals. Where is PETA?
That's a thing?
It's a thing. Millions of dollars going to test transgender animals.
They didn't have a say in that, did they?
No, where is PETA? Why do we have a double standard? Where are they? How is that okay? Side note. Anyway, guys, we want you to know that change is in the air, not only in our health world, but in your own life. If
Yeah.
you struggle, if you are done dealing with food addiction and you're willing to do the hard things, don't come to our program if you want coddling.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. We want to see you free. If you're done with food addiction, you're done with sugar addiction, reach out to us. If you are struggling, maybe you don't have a food addiction, but you're struggling just losing weight and keeping it off, pick up the phone, get a free consultation. We will direct you down the right path and we'll help you. So it was an exciting 2 weeks. We'll see what happens next week. Maybe next week we'll interview you at the airport going somewhere.
Me?
Yeah. There won't be a choice for you next time, just so you know.
Well,
Call your mother-in-law. And Patty, if you're listening to us right now, we could use somebody on standby to take the boys to school.
Noted.
I don't want to go alone again.
No.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
You guys, there's hope. There's a lot of hope in the air right now, not only on the medical side, but there's hope for you as well. So if you are frustrated, just give us a call. Our website, so you can find everything we offer, is kmhealthcoaching.org. And we are happy to meet you right where you are. Any last minute words?
No.
We're here every Tuesday morning.
Yes.
11 a.m. Today it was 11:03 because I was cooking bacon.
I got hungry after you said that. I was trying to just wait till my tummy was growling, and you said bacon. I was
bacon.
I don't have any bacon.
Yeah.
But still waiting.
Hey, by the way, do you know how to cook burnt ends, pork rib tips?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, you can smoke them, right?
No, it's already smoked. They're already done. Well, yeah, the burnt ends. Do you just put those in the air fryer? How do I cook those?
Why not try it? I don't know.
I'll have to Google it. I got some. That's where I was.
Okay.
I picked up some. So
I would think the air fryer is our best friend, but apparently there's toxins in those too. But you can't get around the toxins, y'all.
You can't. No. All right, guys, you are loved. We will see you next Tuesday morning at 11 a.m.
Bye.
Take care. Hey, it's Coach Monica here. Guess what? If you're fed up with feeling stuck in your battle with weight or food, I've got something just for you. Check out our free Facebook groups. Over at Food Addiction and Recovery, I'm over there waiting for you. We're going to walk this journey together. It's about getting real, sharing our stories, and lifting each other up. We're in this together every step of the way. And if you're curious about changing your life with keto, the Weight Loss Project is where you want to be. Coach Darcy is amazing. And together, we're not just talking about losing weight. We're talking about finding a happier, healthier you. So, what do you say? Are you ready to join us? The links are in the show notes below, and I'm telling you, this is more than an invite. It is the start of something great.